Alrighty, everyone, welcome to League of Europe. It is round number 13 of Season 6. We are here for Division 5 at the something Enzo e Dino Ferrari circuit. It's Imola. We love this track. It's one of the greatest tracks there ever is. I'm QVR Maverick, and alongside me today is well, I guess you could say everybody's favorite Welshman, Ivor Bryn. Mike, how are you doing, Mike?
Absolutely everyone's favourite Welshman. I can't think of a better Welshman than me. But I am doing fantastic. And as you said, we are here at Imola, the very first time in League of Europe and in F1 League racing in general that we are going racing at this fantastic, iconic circuit. And what a way to get underway here in qualifying. It is intermediate conditions.
Yeah, if this track wasn't tricky enough, throw it in the wets, and I mean, you have a recipe for disaster for some of these guys, and yeah, it's gonna be tricky. So especially with the death curbs at every chicane.
Yeah, absolutely, and I found that out in Division 4 just how deadly some of those curves can be. As we got a few lap times coming in at the moment, 25.4 for Ben Scott, Jess with a 26.3, Ryan Belshaw on a 27.4. But I'm looking to go on board with someone who is about to start their lap, so they can take us on a full lap here of the, I believe that the San Marino GP, as it's titled, as it is Imola, but I believe it's titled in the LOE calendar as San Marino. Hello? Alec, you there?
I'm still here. I'm trying to figure out who's still who's starting.
Swip is about to get underway right now. I'm currently on board with him, so I'll take us through a lap of this 4.9 kilometer circuit as we cross the line to get underway. DRS would usually be open on this straight, but no DRS in the intermediate conditions as we go into turns 2 and 3. Very tricky, and you see the invalidation there as we run through the kink of turn 4, and now into another tricky corner in 5 and 6. 5 not so much the issue, but getting the car rotated and keeping it on track in turn 6 is really where the difficulty comes as we go into the hairpin of turn 7. Now climbing up the hill for the little kink of turn 8 and into the left-hander. 5th gear usually in the dry of turn 9 and flat out through 10. And flat out through 11, but not in these conditions as we go through turns 12 and 13. Also very easy to lose the car there as we run now to the chicane, almost the final chicane in Canada, almost, as there is a lack of the World Champions there through 14 and 15 as we go through the kink of 16. You see Swip, he's just getting himself set for another run as he's going to get out of the way as we approach turn 17, and that is the RS Major going through. And of course we got turn 18, this left-hander. Very important to get a good run out of here as there's only one corner left, and that is this little kink of turn 19, and then we get ourselves underway once again for another flying lap. But that was a lap of the Imola circuit. Very slow, very calm, obviously after Swip invalidating this lap, but a lot of tricky corners to keep an eye out for, especially in these conditions.
Yeah, I mean, every corner has its own challenges. I mean, Villeneuve, you got to set it up for the hairpin, and Acrominerali there, the downhill double right. You lose the back ends every single time. The chicane, you got to mount both curves, and I mean, even the final 2 corners, even though they're just, flat 90-degree left-handers, they're still really tricky. But we're starting to see a lot of guys come out on the softs. I did notice that DRS is enabled. So
And it has stopped raining.
It's still raining just a little bit, at least at the top of the track. But I think the softs might be the quickest tire now. I'll have to see what types of times these guys do.
Yeah, and obviously when it comes to what times everyone could do, see, with this being a new track to the F1 game, we don't really have any previous knowledge to go about as Swift has lost taking out the final corner. Um, so we have to kind of make our predictions off what we've seen so far in the divisions above, and so we saw a mid 14 in Division 4 earlier. Do you reckon we'll see any of these guys get into the 14s?
Um, I think a 14 is definitely possible. I'd probably say maybe a high 14 um, for pole, especially if this track can completely dry up. I do think that we will see a high 14 for pole position.
Well, I'm currently on board with the McLaren of Lynx, who's really throwing it around in this first sector as he runs into the hairpin. A lot of the times obviously set on the intermediate tyres, so we'll definitely see a lot of new fastest laps come quick and fast once these guys make the switch over. It has stopped raining entirely now as we go through 12 and 13. There with Lynx and now into the chicane. It is almost like the chicane in Canada, but the exit is a lot tighter than what it is in Canada. Very easy just to run off wide and pick up a warning and invalidation, and it could cost you 3 seconds in terms of time penalty.
Yeah, it's tighter, but there's no wall, 2 meters off the racing line to kill you there. But Lake's first one across the line, it's an 18.6, so I don't think this track is to its full potential just yet. And I do believe this is going to be the Red Bull of Serial. He's still on an outlap.
We got Lars on the flying lap. He's just done sector 1, and Lars is our championship leader. We'll run you through the championship order in just a moment as Lars flying through the middle sector. A little bit of traffic for Ben Scott who gets out of the way really quick, and honestly, when I see people go for that curve, I see a lot of people using third gear. Now I prefer fourth gear over those over that chicane, but what is your preference?
I usually take fourth gear. It's just a little bit more stable, a little bit less revs out of the corner. It's not as much wheel spin.
And there goes Lars on provisional pole with a 17.5, the championship leader. And now I will quickly run everyone through the championship standing. So Lars leads the way on 204 points ahead of Steve-O in second place on 149. So a big gap between the two championship protagonists going into tonight. Flip in third place on 122 points, and we got Ryan Belshaw in fourth on 118. 113 points for Leddy after a big result last time out, picking up the victory in Monza. 83 points for Swip in 6th place, Harry F on 77 points in 7th, so he's got all the 7s out there, does Harry F. 72 points for Serial Killer in 8th. ERS Major on 45 points in 9th, then we got Jav rounding out the top 10 on 35 points. Outside the top 10, Marcy on 32, then we got Ghost Recon on 25, Don Steinwheel on 17, Bellin on 14, Jess Games on 13, 10 points at Emperor Rubdown in 16th, then we got Joseph on 8 points, tied with Lynx in 17th and 18th place respectively, and Frento in 19th on 7 points, and we got a load of 3-pointers coming in with Ibo, Reich and Ben Scott all tied on 3 points apiece. Then we got F1 Mason, the last of the point scorers in Division 5 on 2 points, and then the two names yet to get anything on the board is Royal Council in the AlphaTauri and Smitsky, who is a reserve and he's not here tonight, so we won't be able to add to that tally. But yeah, very interesting interesting battles up and down the championship order. Obviously Lars he's away with it at the moment, and doesn't look like anyone's really going to be able to catch him at this stage. Do you think championship all wrapped up now for Lars?
Um, I don't know. It seems likely. I mean, the gap is so big. I mean, he'd most likely have to DNF from every race. Um, if he wants to lose his championship, but it's not over till it's over. So I think this Division 5 championship is it's just getting started.
Well, the gap going in tonight is 55 points, and obviously, I believe that Steve-O is here down in 17th place. Steve-O needs a big result here versus Lars to really eat into that gap. But I mean, as you said, like, it is Lars's to lose now. He can just coast now. He doesn't need to go out and win every single race. Doesn't need the podium every single week. He can just coast to the end.
Yeah, when you have that big of a gap, I mean, all the pressure in the world is just lifted off your shoulders, and if you have a bad race or you get that lap one, turn one wing damage that most people would throw their controllers at the ground at, you can kind of just shrug it off and say, all right, I'll just try to recover and maybe just get points, and that's really all you can do. But you can't have too many of those because if that second place in the championship, if he ends up winning and you don't score good points, that gap can go down dramatically. So it's a balance, but sometimes just taking it slow, it can pay off.
Yeah, so we're starting to see times now start to tumble down. Jav and already improving. Jav up in the second, already up in the third. We're starting to see some representative times now. It's 15.4 from Joseph is the provisional pole position time. Anyone out there on a lap who could possibly challenge? Ibo just coming into the pits. Ibo looking for a big result here tonight as well. As we know, we was in the party talking to him. He is literally fired up for this one.
Yeah, he's about as hyped as I've ever seen that man. So we'll look out for Ibo tonight, and let's get some Ibo points. Let's get some Ibo hype in the chat, please. Honestly,
let's get some Ibo victory in Division 5. Let's start with that. Ibo pole position, Ibo victory, Ibo fastest lap. That's what we want to see.
yeah.
I think if that ever happened, the LOE server would absolutely melt.
It would crash on its own. It wouldn't be someone deleting it. It'd crash on its own.
Yeah, absolutely. As I'm currently on board with Lars as he comes through the middle sector. A little bit of traffic up ahead of a Alpine of Jav, who's off track and getting out of the way, so good go in there from Jav into the chicane now, as Lars is 1.3 up, so he's looking around already. Harry F time at the moment. Can he eke out any more in this final sector? But right now, Joseph's time is looking very good. He's half a second clear at the top right now.
Yeah, there's only about 1:10 left from what I saw. Lars just 2/10 off there, and that is easily findable around this track, but doesn't have enough time to get into the pits and start another and get a fresh set of tires. So he's got to go on this lap if he wants pole position.
Yeah, absolutely. As we'll see Jav also being up there. Now, Jav is an interesting one because he's shown many times this season that he does have good pace. And, sometimes it just doesn't go his way. Will today be the day for Jav? That is going to be a big question. See, he definitely could pull it out. It's one of those tracks where Jav may have an absolute perfect race and pull it out. And we hope so, because he wanted a birthday shout out, and we gave him a birthday shout out, and unfortunately it ended his race as Harry F puts it on provisional pole at 15.2. Good lap there from the man in the Williams.
That was a good lap there. I saw it. He was purple sector too, but obviously this game doesn't really show purple sectors that well. So that was wondering myself if it was going to be... Oh, Lars.
Lars.
That is close.
That is incredibly tight, and Lynx there goes even quicker with a 15.1. Who else have we got? Who could really challenge these guys at the top? Swip 7/10 up, ERS Major 2/10 up. Got a bit of traffic with Jess ahead, but could be a decent bit of slipstream to the line. Doesn't improve. And I don't think Harry and Flip are on the lap, so all eyes on Serial Killer, gets a 15.8, but doesn't threaten pole position now. Devo on a lap now, coming to the line. He is on the medium tyres.
Oh.
And goes up into 13. So it was a bold effort from Stevo, but
yeah.
maybe not the right call.
It was close from getting into that top 10. It was about half a second he had to find. Swip got into the top 10 as well. He knocked Ben Scott out, and then I think Ryan Bellenshaw made it into the top 10 and is now in 10th, so that knocked Swip down to 11th. So I think that's probably the best case scenario for Ben Scott, that he's outside the top 10 after hitting the wall at Villeneuve, I believe. So we'll be able to start on fresh tires. But this qualifying session's over.
Yeah, and it is Lynx, the man on pole position with a 15.1, and that is... It is top 10 for Division 4, I think. I started 9th on a 15.1, so I think Lynx would have just squeezed into the top 10 for the division above. But we're ready for the order quick and fast. We've got Lynx on pole position, Lars alongside Harry F in 3rd, Joseph in 4th, Flip Namsaram in 5th, Serial Killer in 6th, Jav, Aledi, ERS Major and Ryan Belshaw round out the top 10. Outside the top 10 we got Swip, Ben Scott, Stevo, Jess, Embra, Bellin, Ibo, Royal Council and Frendo. Starting down in 19th, and that has to be a new world record.
I feel like that should be like an end of the season competition at Brazil. Whoever can say the qualifying order the fastest should get an extra 10 points in the championship.
I absolutely agree with that. I could do with every single point.
I would need them too.
Well, it does look like it is very cloudy, so we don't know which way the weather is going to turn, but it is, for right now, dry conditions.
Yeah, it looks really dark. So, I mean, no one's told us if it's going to rain in the race yet. Actually, I should stop talking because Ibo just told me that it's going to rain. I should really look at chat before I say stuff, but... So it's a wet race. The thing is now, how soon is this race going, or not the race, how soon is this rain going to come out? Because the top 12 are all on soft, so if the rain, is longer than, it doesn't come till about maybe lap 14, 15, way past the soft's lifespan, how much is that going to affect them, knowing that they have to pit for mediums just to get to the inters?
Well, that's going to be the thing. Like, as you said, like, it all depends on whether the rain comes before the soft stint comes to an end or after. The longer, and obviously another thing as well is how long does it take to actually for the track to go to inters after it starts to rain? Like, is it going to be a quick switch over? Is it going to be a long, prolonged one? Time will tell. Ibo is so confident. He has already disqualified himself from the formation lap. He's eager to get underway, guys. Ibo, the man, the myth, the legend, he doesn't care. He's like, I will start this race on cold tyres, and I will be leading into turn 1.
He's that confident. They say that the first one to the start grid on the formation lap wins. So they get an extra point.
Now, normally in the dry conditions, it would be a relatively simple one-stop, round lap 9, lap 10, pit from the softs to the medium tyres. We did see a few people go on the set of the hards, which is also an option. You can go soft hard. But with it being intermediates, how long do the inters last? Because I have no idea.
I mean, I can see them probably going about half the race, knowing how bad the tire wear is on the slicks. But I doubt any of these guys have done any wet weather practice, so it's going to be a toss-up for every single one of these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. As we're waiting now for the final cars to take their grid positions, and then we'll wait for those 5 red lights to get us underway. Steve-O, Emperor, Bellin, and Royal Council, the only guys outside the top 10 to go for a set of the mediums. But here we go now to those 5 red lights. Lights are out and we are underway, and it looks like a very good start there from Lars, already pulling alongside the McLaren for the race lead. But Harry F is trying to get involved as well, as he has to tuck in behind him. But he Flippers had a pretty decent start as well. Bit of a battle with the Red Bulls as Joseph able to get the move done on Harry F. Have you seen anything going on so far, Maverick?
Alright, Flip got an absolute brilliant start there, as I think Aletti's off at the back. Oh, both Ferraris I think are off at the back. Ben Scott and Aletti. Steve-O I think had a moment there in Tamburello as well, but Flip had a beautiful start to get all the way up to the podium. And Harry didn't get a good run through Tamburello as well, so Joseph got around him as they run down Acromento Raleigh. Harry tries...
Oh no. Tried to get in Belshaw's around, he was trying to overtake Ibo. Ibo said no.
Ibo's getting the elbows out, he's in the points, he's getting 1 point as it stands. I think Majors just got around Job Cern for 7th. Down the inside, Joseph and Harry once again. Harry forced off just a little bit.
Elbows out to the fullest, and that's one thing that we do see quite a bit when it comes to Division 5. The battles can get a little bit tasty. It's very entertaining for us to watch. For the guys actually driving, they're probably getting very frustrated when the elbows come out like that.
Major just getting around Serial Killer into Tamburello. A little bit of contact between the two. Or that could have just been my internet. The Job Cern looking for a move. Oh!
He went for it, fair play. Yeah. And the issue with this track is, as we know, it is very difficult to overtake you. And at the front, Lynx has had a fantastic opening 2 laps because he's already broken DRS.
Yeah, that's crucial for him, and you know, Flip's only 4/10 off of Lars, Joseph's only 4/10 off of him, so they can definitely work together, use the slipstream. You don't save any ERS here. In fact, you burn it.
Ivo, around the outside. What a move! Ah, FIA sorted out. That was nowhere near a 3-second time penalty. Give me a second, I'm glad I went on board with that, but back up towards the front, Serial Killer looking to have a run on ERS Major. Gonna look around the outside, perhaps I've seen 2 bit of contact, and Serial Killer does get the move done, but that's going to open things up for Jav, who's going to go around the outside of ERS Major as ERS Major does back out to make sure he doesn't cause issue, but it works out for him. She's now on the outside for the hairpin. We'll go deep to get the better traction to get the run, but Jav able to hold on to P7. Good battling between the Alpine and the Haas for P7.
Yeah, Major tried to do the little switch back into Villeneuve. It just didn't seem to work. No, I think his best shot of overtaking is just waiting for the first chicane at the end of the front straight.
A bit of contact there with Joseph and Flip in the chicane. Battle for P3, I think. Joseph maybe a little bit of a tap on Flip's rear end as sent flip off, and now he's lost 2 spots. So the Aston Martin down to P5. We should be able to get P4 back now because DRS is enabled and will be in use now coming down this main straight as flip. It's going to go for the move on Harry. He's going to look at the inside. He's going to get it done.
Beautiful. Nobody runs wide and Villeneuve picks up a penalty. Harry now trying to stick with him.
The rain's falling. The rain is here. The rain is here. The first rain droplets have fallen onto the track, and now the question is, at what point do you pit? You don't want to go too early and ruin it. You don't want to go too late and ruin it. You gotta find the right moment to come into the pits, and now we're gonna see how these guys can handle themselves on a damp track, because Lars and Joseph have been closing back in on Lynx. So I don't think Lynx is enjoying these conditions right now.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Usually the transition phase is when ERS is, or not ERS, DRS is disabled. And it's usually right before then is when you want to pit, but you don't know when it's going to get disabled. As Harry goes around the outside of flip into Tamburello, getting the position back.
That's how we have.
Oh, it is.
Down in 7th.
Oh my god.
But yeah, Jav picking up the fastest lap, and if it remains wet for the entire race, Jav will be walking away with that fastest lap point. So it's a good job Jav was able to set that. He has that in the bag at this stage. I don't think anyone's going to be able to go quicker in these damp conditions. So it was a good lap from Jav, and now he's over the back of this Flip and Harry F battle as we got Joseph and Lars side by side.
Wow.
For P2, and Lars able to hold on, and that is just gonna slow these guys up enough where Harry, Flip and Jav may smell an opportunity of a podium here if they call the pit stop right.
Yeah, I mean, I think if Harry and those guys want to catch up, you got to do it now, because I feel like once that DRS is disabled, you're not going to be able to catch up in the wet, just like it was at Monza in Division 4.
Yeah, let's not talk about Monza and shall we?
Let's just not talk about the last few races we've had.
I don't know, I finished decent in the past few races, but it's just been boring. But yeah, focusing back on Division 5, see with Joseph and Lars able to stick with Lynx. These guys are pulling away. We've got a spinner, and that is Bellin. Bellin around. Is that going to trigger a safety car? It is going to trigger a safety car. Where was this in Division 4?
Ben Scott's in the pits.
Everyone should be in the pits now for a set of intermediates. Where was this in Division 4? Like, how many times were we screaming for an SC as soon as the yellow flag came over?
I think it was about every lap we wanted the safety car to come out.
Yeah, absolutely. As we've got a question in the chat, Yannick, is there also a PC league? There is a PC league in LOE. It's in the off season at the moment. I believe we'll potentially. I believe LOE will be starting that particular league back up once we get going for season 7 here in League of Europe. So keep an eye out if you want to keep up to date on everything. Make sure you follow League of Europe on Twitter at League of Europe, and keep an eye out for any new posts and join the Discord. And yeah, all that good stuff. Now,
4 guys
this is
didn't
interesting.
pit.
Yeah, this is very interesting. The top four did not pit. Lynx and Joseph did, and effectively now their lead is commanded, in my personal opinion. And already didn't pit as well. Surely, with the safety car, it's gonna be indoors by the time the safety car comes in. Surely, it's still not going to be the dry conditions.
Yeah. I mean, the track looks wet already, so... And there's no spray coming off the tires, but I mean... I don't think any of these guys would have double stacked anyway. I mean, Flip and Swip, yeah, because, I mean, they're right next to each other, but... I just don't know why you would stay out.
The thing is, they weren't even right next to each other. There was a big gap between them. They could have double stacked. Okay, maybe Swip would have lost like half a second or something.
Mm-hmm.
But what they've done now is put themselves so far on the back foot. And Swip didn't even pit. Swip, it would have been quicker to pit, double stack with your teammate.
Yeah, because now they're spray. They're spray now, so it's definitely inters.
Now, let's look at how bad this situation has gotten for the likes of Lars. He was in second place before the safety car came out. He is now in a net P7. Could be P8 as Emperor goes through, and Emperor does get ahead of Lars. So Lars gone from second place down to a net 8th place by being a bit naive and staying out on a very wet track while he's going to the Indes. And the same for Flip and Jav as well. They were looking so good, and now they dropped well down the order.
Yeah, it's going to be recovery for them. I mean, if they think they have the pace to, just beat everybody, and I guess it doesn't really matter. But it's track position, it's Imola, it's those two things just go together. So I'm still trying to find a reason to stay out here, unless it's one of those quick spurts of rain. But it doesn't look like it's drying up. If anything, it's getting worse.
Yeah, and Swip right now, like, I get you don't want to double stack with your teammate, but you gotta go with what's the quickest option. Like, the double stack was the quickest option there, and it has been brought up a few times. Some of the calls and that some of the guys in Division 5 make. This is one of those calls where you don't understand it because you're just throwing away more lap time and more track position than you need to. So now Swip's going to come out. I mean, he may come out behind Royal Council, I'm not sure. But he might have been able to get ahead of Jess and Ryan.
The Royal Council's in the wall. Oh, Flip's got a penalty for a collision with Jav.
And I think Jav would have the exact same penalty as well, as the two of them make contact. Now the question is, did Flip brake check Jav, or did Jav underestimate the speed of Flip and make slight contact? Who knows? But bottom line, they both have a 5-second time penalty to their name, and that takes them up to 8 seconds of penalties apiece. The safety car is in this lap, so we will be getting underway once again as... This is good. Oh, there's another
one
between the two of them.
And Sailor, I can't speak. The Red Bull there was off at the chicane. He's lost a few positions. This is
Yep, and already
interesting.
and Steve-O's at the line back through. So we're going to be getting underway shortly. Lynx has gone very early and going to be under immediate pressure because here comes Joseph now going to look to the inside for turn one, side by side, turn two, side by side. It's going to be as trying not to make contact, a little bit of wheel banging, but they're both able to make it through and escape. Joseph though taking the lead of the race, and now the question comes: who started this this race with a dry setup, and who started with a wet setup? As Jav and Flip are falling down the order,
Well, they're
contact
both
between
off.
the pair of them. Those two just can't seem to get away from each other, can they? In this race.
Must have magnets.
Lars going on the outside left, the inside. Front only gets the move done. Lars up into P5 as we got Harry F and ERS major trading positions there. Harry F getting a little bit wayward on the curb. He's going to send it though down the inside. That's very late in my opinion, but I think Harry outbroke himself and just kind of slid on and kind of forced into making the lunge there, where him just outbreaking himself.
Yeah, that didn't seem like he wanted to do it, but it's led Lars and Frento back up into this front little train that we have.
Absolutely, see, this is the battle for the podium. ERS Major currently in third place, Harry F in fourth, Lars in fifth. Frento just dropping off now. He's just falling back into the clutches of Emperor and Serial Killer. Speaking of Serial Killer, he's over the back. He's using his ears very dangerously, if I'm going to say so. Like mid corner in the wet. That is a brave man right there in the Red Bull.
You want to use it mostly on the straights, especially in the wet conditions. It's where you'll gain most of your time. But I mean, if he thinks he can hold it, who am I to tell him not to use the ERS in the middle of the corner?
As we got Jav in the chat saying he is so annoyed, and honestly, I can understand Jav. I had a very annoying race over here also. He's going to be getting back in the way, and obviously for Jav, he's going to be hoping for a safety car, pretty much like what we were throughout the entirety of Division 4. Now, obviously with Jav being that far behind now, how do you motivate yourself to keep going when you've got so long left in this race?
I mean, the thing that I kept saying when I was at the back today was, I found it really difficult to get the tires up to temperature, so I thought, well, someone's obviously going to spin out, when they pit for those new tires. And obviously that didn't bring out the safety car, but I just kept thinking in my head, it can't get worse than this, it can only get better. You just got to keep going, so it's difficult, but I mean, you just got to keep going.
That you do, as Serial Killers just wants to get through on Emperor, and now Steve-O and already on the next wants to try and get past Emperor. And from personal experience on racing Emperor, he does like to defend and will defend and use all his ERS to defend if need be. As Steve-O all over the back of the Haas, who possibly going to wait for the main straight, as the rain is definitely coming down heavier. Do you think it could be possible for it to go to full wets? Because it's definitely getting stronger, and this track is getting a lot worse, I think.
Yeah, I'm starting to think that seeing Emperor slide around a little bit. Steve-O got a pretty good run. He's going to switch it back to the inside of Letty's here as well. Oh, Steve-O clipped the wall there at turn 1. But yeah, it might be a gamble. Oh, what a send by Steve-O into turn 2. It might be a gamble to go on the wets, but honestly, it's close. I mean, there's so much spray. There's a lot of standing water. I wouldn't see why not.
Already
Oh,
squeeze it
there he
around, but
goes.
makes a little bit of contact, and there's Emperor in the wall. That's a tricky one. That's bold and brave there from Already to try the move there on Emperor, and the slight bit of contact sent the Haas hurtling around at the speed of sound.
It almost looked like he braked super early there for that chicane. I think just got clipped, but I mean, we'll have to see what the stewards say possibly.
Yeah, as back up towards the front, Major, Harry and Lars still scrapping out for this spot on the podium. Harry doesn't appear to be really making any headway on Major, and Major is in fact kind of dragging these two cars behind him along to limits at the moment, as Joseph is absolutely clear right now. We saw when it was Inters in qualifying, Joseph done a very good lap, and he may just have the raw pace here today.
Yeah, it could be possible. He's got 9 seconds, so he's definitely pushing his luck on the track limits. But I mean, if you can get 9 seconds of penalties and beat the guy in second by 9 seconds, then I guess it really doesn't, it kind of just cancels itself out. But he doesn't seem to be pulling that gap out as of now. Link's just holding under 2 seconds. With those 3 seconds, now 2 seconds. And the 1 second to ERS Major. Harry, I believe, will probably only get P3 if this race was to end now. The serial killer Frento swap positions down at the penultimate corners.
Yeah, and Frento's going to use his ERS to come back at serial killer. Serial killer's got no ERS to answer with, so this could be Frento getting back through on the Red Bull. He's going to go to the outside of serial killer. Is he going to be able to make this work? And he does. Frento back through and up into P6. We saw Major pick up another 3-second time penalty, and he's done exactly what he done on 2 occasions. He got onto that curb, and now Harry around the outside in the hairpin trying to get a switch back, but US Major blocking the switchback from happening, and US Major, they're defending hard against Harry F.
Yeah, he made the mistake. He tried to keep the position. There was a little bit of contact. Harry was nearly pushing Major through that corner at that hairpin. Now through Ackerman Raleigh. Oh, just this. I think the speed that Harry can take. Here comes Lars. Oh, not there. And he holds out.
I think Lars is happy right now. He's got Steve-O, he's got Aledi, he's got Ryan, he's got Flip all behind him on track right now. He doesn't mind just chilling behind these guys, I think.
It's definitely the safer call, I would say. Just wait to see what happens. I mean, he's close to getting, probably everyone except for Harry on penalties, so it's going to be close. We're almost we are halfway done with this race.
Yep, and the man, the myth, the legend known as Sir Ibo is on the wet compound tyre, so he's giving us some valuable information right now, and it is still the intermediate conditions.
Frento and Serial Killer going at it. Well, someone's off that flip, isn't it?
Yep, Flip, Emperor, Jav. Not the best of combinations you wanna see, but we got Jav now over the back of Ibo, and this should be a relatively simple overtake. for Jav. Ibo not really going to fight against his teammate, and Jav is through and up in the 14th. But actually, Ibo almost sent it back down the inside of Jav.
He tried.
Oh no, those wets are definitely not the tire to be on, as they just carry Ibo off track there. But back up towards the front. Frendo once again closing in rapidly on Serial Killer. This could be a late lunge into turn 2. Not Frendo thinks better of it. And Serial Killer, it's a little bit deep. That's going to put him under pressure now from Frendo, who runs down into the second chicane, the left, right, and Serial Killer able to hold on. Well, this race has almost kind of settled down a little bit, and it does usually happen in the wet races where we do end up with this phase where there's just, you can't overtake, you're just waiting for someone to make a mistake. The question is, who is going to make that mistake?
Yeah, I mean, it's only a matter of time before someone gets a little bit too greedy on the power or over a chicane or something. We're starting to see, I think, 2 distinctive groups. The top 5 have their own little pack, and then I think from 6 to, I think, Ben Scott, the 2 Ferraris there in the back. So they're kind of just working at their own pace right now, as Serial Killer got a really good run out of the final corner. He's really starting to pull away now from Frento.
Yep, and now Steve-O's on the back of the McLaren. We'll see if Steve-O can get through. Steve-O really does need to get himself up the order, because he needs to minimise the damage that Lars is currently doing to him in the championship, because see, with 4 more rounds after this one to go, there is only 130 points available left in this championship battle, and Lars already has a 55 point lead. Ryan picks himself up a 3-second time penalty already on the back of this train. And this is a pretty sizable train from P6 down to P10. And Ben Scott isn't too far off this as well, so he could be getting involved pretty soon. As I think Ryan's made a mistake somewhere, because now Already's over the back of him, and so Steve-O on Frento. And is Steve-O going to have the pace to get past the McLaren here? I think he's got a straight line speed.
He's trying, he was using some of his ERS, but it's just, I mean, without DRS, it's just so difficult.
Because Serial Killer has dropped away from Frento, and here comes Steve-O now, as Frento defends the inside. A little bit of a wiggle across there, but that doesn't stop Steve-O. He's going to send it clean around the outside. Thank you very much, and that's P7 for F1 Steve-O.
That was textbook to use the racing line, find a bit more traction than Frento decided to defend into the hairpin. Man, that that was awesome. Oh, is that Ibo possibly getting out of the way?
Yeah, it's Ibo.
Okay.
So we already know what Ibo's doing. He knows that if he crosses the line and he's finished on lap 31 or 32, he wins because he's done it quicker. Exactly. Oh, as Ryan and Already have made contact on the pit straight. Oh my god. I
Not.
was on board with Ryan, and I think a lady was on his inside coming towards the little kink of turn one, and they've just got their wheels locked together, and both of them send each other into the wall and absolutely hurtling. Unbelievable.
Yeah, Letty's got no front wing. That might have been lag on my side because it just kind of just fell off. I think some people might be desyncing for me right now. Is
I
there a
know
safety
Jav's
car?
left the session. No, it's a yellow flag sector one.
Okay.
Jav unfortunately is out of the session. Hopefully he'll be able to get back in. Hopefully he has another invite to get back in. Jav demanding 14th at the moment. But yeah, controversy there between Ryan and Eddie, and those two are they're in a battle, and potentially it's a battle for second in the championship right now, because it is still pretty close between Steve-O down to Aledi. There was only 5 points separating Ryan and Aledi going into this race.
Yeah, I mean, even though it might not be, a battle for, the overall championship, it's still
Oh, Harry got on the
points.
gravel, and here comes Lars down the inside.
Oh, the switchback.
Oh, this is great stuff. Harry F and Lars as they climb up the hill, and it looks like Lars is going to be able to get that position, and he is now up into P4. And see, with Jav lagging out of the session, our time, well, the timings
Oh!
for me are gone. Oh, is it? Well, Lars just got a big snap on the exit.
Harry went a bit deep into the tighter turn in Acromena Raleigh and just ran into the back of Lars. I don't think they picked up damage. That was that was close. I mean, Lars was nearly sideways.
Well, once everyone crosses the line, you'll get the deltas back. But with the penalty situation, Joseph on 9, Lynx on 3, and ERS Major on 9. Lars, I believe, is 3 seconds off Lynx, so Lars is in a net race winning position right now.
Yeah, it's big for Lars, for the championship. But I mean, right now he knows he's winning this race on the penalties that Joseph Lix and Major has. So,
He
like,
doesn't know that yet, though. He
well,
doesn't know. He's only going to see Lynx and Major's time penalties. He's not going to see Joseph's.
oh yeah. Well, he could be listening in. There's nothing wrong with that.
I mean, if he is listening, hello Lars, and how are you doing right now? Are you enjoying Imola?
Probably not. It's wet.
Yeah, as Lynx goes off track there, and that's going to bring ERS Major back within a second with the McLaren. And Lars is closing in on these two, and if Lars can get ahead of ERS Major, he will be able to see then that he is in a race winning position. So this is big for Lars. He's definitely got the pace at the moment. Just needs to keep it clean on penalties. If he picks up a 3 second, it's going to be very, very difficult. Really kind of stop Joseph winning this race, as he already has almost a 5-second lead over Lynx in second place, and he has been eking out that gap. It has been getting bigger.
I'm trying to find who's close on track. I think everybody's just about a second apart from each other. Ooh, Major's made a mistake at the chicane. And Lars is right on the back of him now. He's within 210, so if he can use some ERS here out of the final corner, he should get past him.
Well, we're going to find out now as Lars gets on the ERS. He needs to get into the slipstream of that hassle. There's one of these sticking out in the slipstream, he's not going to gain this much. ERS Major also with quite a healthy amount of ERS still used to his name. And he's able to hold on to P3.
You could say he's got a major amount of ERS.
Alright. You had to say it, didn't you?
I did. I've been wanting to say it for a while.
Guys, he's had this joke written down just before we started the stream. He's been waiting to pop it in somewhere.
I have, yes.
Absolutely terrible for me. I hope Ryan wins the championship now in D4.
Oh, thanks.
As ERS Major there, a bit of a back end snap, and Lars once again within 3 tenths, just under 2 tenths there. He's got to get a good run out of his final corner, and he's got to stay in the slipstream.
Oh,
and he
has a better run.
He needs to stick in the slipstream of this Haas if he really wants to close in. Not going to get the overspeed though. He's going to try and lunge it. No, he thinks better of it. That's a yellow flag, and that is Emperor, who is around. He's going to get himself going. Oh, he's lost it again.
Oh.
Now, as ERS Major picks up another 3 seconds time penalty, that brings his total up to 12. And how was this not a safety car? Yellow flag for ages.
I really have no idea. Probably because he kept it going.
Safety cars do not like Imola.
They don't.
Oh, and Emperor's gone again. He's in the wall and he's out of the race.
That might be a safety car. The pack's coming through. Yeah.
That is a safety car.
What
now,
do you
the question
do?
is, was that intentional? So, I don't know if you was on board with it.
I was not.
I was. So, Emperor coming out of the final corner, lost the back end and went into the wall. He lost his front wing. He turned his car and put on a boot full of power. Whether he was trying to flick spin it or whether he was just trying to bin off his wheel, I don't know. But definitely could be something. As Ibo, 10-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. And Jav with a drive-through penalty. Everyone just noticed that.
Popping off.
Yeah, absolutely is popping off here, as we got some guys in the pits making a switch to a fresh set of intermediates, which isn't a bad shout to be fair. Steve-O and Ryan going for a fresh set of the green wool tyres, and for those guys with no penalties, like Lars, like Ben Scott, they could be looking at podiums here now.
Yeah, they're licking their chops right now, seeing Bernd Mailander come out in that beautiful red Mercedes AMG safety car, sponsored by CrowdStrike. I don't know, but I mean, with the pack bunched up and the amount of penalties that everyone has, I mean, yeah, you got to think Ben Scott. You could easily get on the podium here if he can just stick with these guys.
For Joseph and ERS Major, this is infuriating for the pair of them.
This is the last thing they wanted.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Joseph had almost I believe he had a 6-second lead.
It was up there.
he'd almost broken away enough that he'd finish ahead of Lynx. And now he's looking at possibly finishing down in. Well, he could end up finishing down in the lower half of the top 10. Swip is in for a fresh set of intermediate tyres. What would you do? Would you gamble for the fresh inters or would you stick it out?
If I don't have a penalty, I'm definitely staying out. Just because the field is going to be bunched up and track position is everything. But if I got a penalty, I would pit. Take the gamble. See how much time you can make up on these guys. See how much easier you can overtake them into these corners. I mean,
Well, all eyes.
especially the hairpin.
Yeah, exactly. All eyes right now are going to be on Steve-O, Ryan Belshaw, and Swip. Down in 9th, 10th, and 11th, they're on fresh intermediate tyres compared to the 20 odd lap old tyres of the drivers ahead of him. Steve-O has 3 seconds, Ryan on 6, and Swip on 3 seconds also. These guys, they may not be able to come out with the victory tonight, but they could definitely use those tyres to good use to maybe get a podium here.
I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how many positions they can make up. But the thing
I'm
is...
having a look to see if Lars got out. Lars got. Okay. Right, yeah, that's interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, this is very intriguing. This is enthralling stuff. Mm-hmm. You're looking no.
I see what you mean. I see what you mean. Caught in 4K. Caught in 8K Ultra HD.
He is one warning away from a 3-second time penalty. His last, so he is in a situation right now where he wants to keep it clean on track, but he also wants to try and get past these guys.
Yeah, he's got to be a good boy.
Yeah, and I didn't even check Ben Scott. Hang on, let me have a look and see how Ben is doing. Right, he's got 3 warnings, but let's see the situation is with Scott is on the track limit. Collision and 2 track limits for Ben Scott. So both Ben and Lars, they're in good positions right now because they do not have a penalty to their name, but they are 1 warning away from it, and that's got to be going through their minds as we are going to be getting underway. Lap 28 of 32. We're going to have 4 laps of racing. Joseph and ERS Major are going to be furious with the safety car coming up this late in the race. It's absolutely destroyed them. Jav for the drive-through is going to be kicking himself, as well as we're going to be getting underway shortly. Joseph going to set the pace, and he's already gone.
He's gone.
Yeah, the safety car hasn't even come into the pits yet, and he has gone, and he has dropped Lindsay, so for Joseph, he needs to put in the best final 4 laps of his life if he wants to try and salvage something out of this race.
Yeah, Lars is still sticking behind Major. He's not really forcing the issue right now. Oh, Major got a little bit of a slide there out of the hairpin. It's behind the trees. Lars looked up the inside. Just, he's holding back. He knows he's going to win this race if he doesn't get a penalty. Harry around the outside. A half attempt there. Serial killer will get through before the braking zone of the chicane as Harry runs to the back of him. Luckily, no wing damage.
Oh, Ben Scott's
for the
around,
Williams.
and
Oh
he's
no!
into the Steve-O. Steve-O's made contact with Ben Scott. No fault of Steve-O's at all. Ben Scott just lost it directly in front of him, and heartbreak for the Alfa Romeo, and also for Ryan as well. Ryan,
Yeah, he lost it just going down the hill and went into the wall, lost his wing.
The three guys who put on a fresh set of intermediate tyres, they've been caught out, and it's through no fault of their own, I don't think. And Ben Scott, it was looking so good for him as well, to maybe snag a podium here, but it wasn't meant to be. And here comes Lars now down the inside of ERS Major. He has gone for it. A little bit of contact on the exit, and that's going to open the door for Serial Killer to maybe have a run. And he's going to have a run. He's going to climb up the hill. He's going to back out. He has to back out, and he does. Serial Killer right now in position to get a podium here as he gets a good run on ERS Major. He's going to squeeze him all the way to the outside. Oh, these two, no, guys.
Oh, there he goes.
It's just not a place to go side by side, and neither one of them wanted to yield.
Yeah.
That was always going to be the end result there between Major and Serial Killer, as Harry now is the man in position to maybe get himself up ahead of ERS Major. He is using some of his, but not enough, as ERS Major is using almost all of his to stay ahead. Oh, and Harry F with another 3-second time penalty, and there goes his chances of stealing the podium. It now comes to, I believe, Swip, potentially, the next man on 3 seconds. As Harry, Frento, and oh my god, there's Major with big snap there, and Frento is through and up in the fourth. US Major dropping down into the sixth. Harry F staying in position as Ben Scott, I believe that is, who is around once again. As we are on the penultimate lap, not too far away from starting the final lap of this race. It's looking like a very good result for the McLaren team here tonight, as Flip gets past Swip. I'm not sure how wise that was for them to make that switch, as Flip immediately runs deep, and now a lady's down the inside.
Oh wow.
Swip, and
Swip's around.
off.
He saved it.
He did, but now he's going to drop behind Serial Killer. He's going to have to run. Maybe not. No, he doesn't have the ERS to make it work. We're on the final lap of the race now, as Joseph has definitely looked like the fastest guy here tonight. But you can be the fastest guy, but if you can't keep it on track, you're not going to pick up all the rewards for it. And that is going to be the case for Joseph, as he does have 12 seconds of time penalties to his name. He may still get a podium.
Could be possible. As long as he doesn't make a mistake.
No, he will. He's got 9 seconds to Frento and Harry, and they both got 6 seconds to their name.
Oh.
So, yeah, Joseph, in the end, it did work out for him, as a lady is around, and there's Major also around. He picks up another 3-second time penalty, but on board with Joseph, who's going to cross the line to finish in first place. Lynx will cross the line in second, but both of them will be jumped by Lars, who takes victory here and extends his championship lead by a hefty margin. As I believe Steve-O may not even get points
Yeah,
out of
he's not going to
this.
get points. Oh,
Oh,
he
he
gets
gets
1
one.
point. Oh,
So a 24-point gain for Lars on Steve-O. So what would that be? 79 points the lead, and now there is only 104 points left. We could have the championship decided next week in Mexico, as Frento picks up the driver of the day in game. But who was your driver of the day?
mm, I mean, the man on the top step right there, Lars. I mean, he didn't do anything, I don't know, risky, I guess you could say. He knew he was going to beat everybody on penalties since he didn't have any. So he just decided to stick behind them and just wait it out, I guess. So it's a perfect strategy, really, in my opinion.
Yeah, and it's difficult to argue with it. Really, I will give a shout out to Joseph. He had unbelievable pace here today, but
Mm-hmm.
the penalties let him down. And also, Frento coming from 19th up into 4th. That's definitely worth a mention also. But we'll run you for the order. It is Lars taking victory here with Lynx alongside Joseph in 3rd, with Frento in 4th, Seal Killer in 5th, Aledi in 6th, Flip in 7th, and Swip in 8th. Harry F in 9th with ERS Major rounding up the top 10. Then we got Jess in 11th and Stevo picking up the final point down in 12th place. Then we have outside the points Ryan Belshaw, Jav, who did pick up fastest lap, so Jav will have that honour of having fastest lap next to his name. Ben Scott in 15th, he was looking so good for him with that late safety car, but I'm not sure what happened to him in the chicane, but he was sideways and it caused absolute carnage for Steve-O, Ryan and Whip. So Ben will finish down in 15th, and then Ibo, the last of the finishers, in 16th. Now, non-finishers, the DNFers were, of course, Emperor Rub, Royal Council, and Bellin, and that is going to bring an end to the San Marino GP here in Imola for League of Europe. And right now, we do have to get the podium drivers into the party, so that is something I'm going to be doing pretty quick. Maverick, do you have anything to say on that race?
Um, it was a good race to watch. I mean, wet races always they always throw a spanner into the works, and I think it brings out the best drivers into these wet races. And I mean, throw them around a track that's difficult as it is in the dry. I think you got a recipe for a really good race to watch. So, um, yeah, it was it was fun. I'm glad I did it too. Glad I got to do this race.
Yeah, I mean, even after, I mean, I always enjoy coming here to commentate in Division 5. It's always fun. It lifts the mood after you've had a bad race in Division 4, because, Division 5 is going to be entertaining to watch, so always a treat. And who was the last man? Yeah, Joseph, right. Okay, right. The podium have been invited into the party, so we're gonna wait to see. Because I usually hog all the questions when it comes to Division 5, Lavik, I'm gonna let you do all the questions.
I hate you.
But we have been joined by our race winner in Lars. We're going to wait to see if anyone else joins. Lynx has joined, the man who finished in second place. Will we get our final podium finisher in the session with us? Oh, I've coughed up a lung, guys. I've absolutely coughed up a lung.
All right. I guess we'll start just so we don't drag this any longer. We'll start with the race winner, Lars. Um, you didn't pick up a penalty. You were one of the very few drivers that finished this race without a penalty. You were about third, fourth position almost the entire race. Was it your plan just to stick behind Lynx and Joseph and just beat them on track? Was that your main goal? Just not take any risks?
Uh, Firstly, my strategy wasn't great. That one lap longest that I stayed out really cost me. Lucky I got a good recovery drive. But yeah, I was on 2 warnings, so I was a little bit sweaty for that. I was hoping not to get a third one, so I got one on the penalties. But because I was kind of held up by Harry and Major a lot, so I kind of lost out of Joseph of that. And yeah, Lex kind of had the same pace as me, so it was not really a way to get past in the rain.
Yeah, it was definitely really difficult to get past in the rain. It almost seemed like it was Bond's level of difficult to get past in the rain. But congrats on the win and extending your championship to, what was it, about 70, 77 points, Mike? Is that what you said?
It is now 79 points with 104 points available. So it could end
Very
next week
nice.
in
There we
Mexico.
go. All right. Um, we'll move on to our second place finisher, Lynx. You you ran in the top three the entire race. You just couldn't get past Joseph. He just seemed to beat you outright on the speed. Just talk us through the race. What was going through your mind throughout that entire race?
Um, First of all, congratulations to Lars. But I've lost in the last 3 races 35 positions from start position, so I hope to not spin in the rain. But yeah, it wasn't that difficult because Major couldn't really got me. So yeah, and Joseph was too fast for me. And not much happened for the rest.
Yeah, it was definitely wasn't the most entertaining fight up at the front with how much speed Joseph had, but he ended up walking away with the second place.
Yes.
Um, Joseph's not here, I don't believe. So, Mike, do you have anything?
Right, so I'll have one question. Obviously, with this being a brand new track in LOE, like how did you actually find racing at this track? I know I asked this about Portimao as well, but how did you
Mm,
guys manage to adapt to this track?
the track isn't really that hard, but in the rain it's not not nice. But yeah, no spins, so it was really good for me.
The same for you, lads?
Yeah, I just did a lot of Grand Prix mode, just in a single player. Just did a lot of 50% races to get ready for that race. Yeah, I really like the flow, to be honest, on this track. Only the first few corners I had a little bit difficult with the curbs. Spun me out almost a few times, but for the rest it was very nice.
And I want to ask as well about the final SC restart. Obviously, thanks for you being on 3 seconds. knowing that you possibly had a podium secured, I don't know if you knew the penalty situation of everyone behind you, but Ben Scott was the only other one without a penalty to his name. Uh, were you were you taken taken a bit aback by how early that Joseph went on the safety car restart?
No, my safety car research just aren't good enough. It's every
Fair
race the
enough.
same, so I
Uh,
expected it. Yeah.
Fair enough. And so obviously with that late safety car, it definitely brought you into the race winning equation. Uh, but for you, was that the moment where you was like, right, I have to get past CRS Major, or were you just didn't want to overtake him? So he definitely got the elbows out with you a little bit at the end.
Yeah, I was in the race. I was a little bit annoyed because he was on like 12 seconds of penalty. I was like, let me pass because you land far behind me. So I really wanted to get past him. He was a little bit slower than me. He was holding me up. So Lix and Joseph got away. So I really wanted to pass him first before I maybe got a third warning, get a 3-second penalty, and maybe then I had a chance to overtake Lix. So yeah.
Okay, right. So final question. Obviously Mexico up next. How do you two feel about Mexico, and what is your target now for the final 4 rounds with Mexico being up next, and obviously Baku, Suzuka, and Brazil later at the end of the season?
Personally, I really enjoy Mexico. There's some nice flowing corners, especially the S's, I just call it. Yeah, and I hope just to outscore Steven for the rest of the races, and that's really my goal at the moment.
I mean, if you outscore them, you win the championship. I'm just saying for
That's right.
Mexico.
Oh, really?
What about you, Lynx?
Oh.
Any personal target that you're aiming for now? Because I know you
My
came into
personal
the season a
target
bit
is
late.
to not end up as the biggest baller of the season.
To be honest, I thought your target would be potentially challenging for top 10. Obviously, Jav didn't score tonight, so he stays on 35 points. You picking up 18 plus you on
Yeah, that should be
26.
possible.
So 9 points off. It is possible for you to get a top 10.
Yeah.
Is that your aim for the end of the season? Try and get top 10?
Nah, higher is always nice, but seeing my last race this year, I should get every race. I should get a podium, but my races aren't that good to last, but except this one. So I hope to get some more points and end up higher.
Okay, great stuff. And that is going to conclude all my questions. Maverick, do you want to wrap up the stream? So it looks like Joseph isn't going to be jumping in for the podium interviews.
Yeah, I'll wrap it up. Um, so congrats once again to our podium finishers, and congrats to everybody else who finished the race. Thank you everyone for tuning in. We will be back live for Division 1, 3, and 4 next Saturday for the Mexico City Grand Prix. And then just a little bit after those races finish up, Division 2 and Division 5 will be back once again. Tin Can should be back with mics. Everything should be back to normal. You won't be hearing my annoying American accent. Regardless, F2, I believe, has a race on Monday. So check that out. I believe 7 p.m. UK time. I could be wrong. Um, and yeah, just stay tuned. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, so you know when there's more League of Europe action going on, regardless of what division it is. Every division always has their moments. They always put on a great show. So make sure to go check out the other divisions that race today. Um, with that, I've been QVR Maverick. That was Ivan Mike. Those are our two of the three podium finishers, and I hope to see you guys next week in Mexico. Have a great week, everyone.